So right now we are in the drawing object. If I want to get back to my scene, I could do one or two things. I could click ball, which that gets me back into the movie clip. But in order to get back to my scene, I would left click scene 1 and I'm back into my scene. If I have the ball selected, I can move my playhead forward here. It's coming up. I'm going to go to frame 25. Select frame 25 so it's highlighted. Right click, go to insert keyframe. Grab the transform tool, move it down, move it forward, and make sure the bounding box, using the arrow keys on my keyboard, lines with that guide. Now something I can do at this point in time is actually see what's going on with this range of motion, and that's called the onion skin. So I could turn that on right down here. If you're noticing, there's this little property called onion skin. It's down here at the bottom of the interface. I'm going to left click and select that. And this allows me to see the actual range of motion throughout the process of this bouncing ball that we're creating here. It's basically bringing up a ghost-like feature of all the keyframes that we've keyframed prior in the range of the process. I'm going to go back to frame 20. Now, something we have to do is the highlight's coming up, it's rotating forward. I'm going to go to frame 20, and I've got to make sure that this highlight's still going forward. So with the transform tool, I'm going to just hover over the corner. It's going to be rotate until it turns that little rotate tool. Hold shift, left click and drag until that highlight shows forward. Move my playhead back. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. All right, moving forward, I'm going to use the time control down here. Step forward one frame. I'm going to click that 1, 2, 3. It's frame 28. I will select frame 28. Right click, insert keyframe, and now we've got to squash it. So I'm going to squash my ball, showing weight distribution. I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard. I'm going to move it down to the bounding box lines of the guide. I'm going to move it forward 2 more using that step forward 1 frame. I'm going to go to frame 30, select frame 30, right click, insert the keyframe first, and then make the adjustment. Adjust my ball, stretch in the other direction, use the arrow keys on my keyboard. Back to the guide. Perfect. It's going to move up. We go to frame 35. I'm going to select frame 35, right click, insert keyframe, and I'm going to move my ball up. I'm going to make sure that this ball is not going as high as it did before, but it's kind of coming up, and that way it shows that nice gravity working throughout that range of motion. I'm going to move it to where it needs to be. I'm going to go to my transform menu. I'm going to change its property value to 100 by 100. Perfect. All right, move 5 frames forward. Frame 40, select frame 40 only. Right click, insert keyframe, bring it down, make sure the bottom of the transform box is aligned with that guide using arrow keys on the keyboard, position anywhere it needs to be. We're going to go back to frame 35, select it, and with the transform tool still activated, use the rotational value, move your pointer over one of the corners, click and drag to rotate it. Hold shift, make sure the highlight faces down at frame 35. Select keyframe 40. Again, same process. It's not going to only face down, but it's got to face the opposite direction. Make it look like it's rotating. Move our playhead back. This is looking good. All right. It's on the ground, so we go 3 frames forward to make it look like it's squishing. 1, 2, 3. That would be frame 43. Select frame 43. Right click. Insert keyframe. Use the transform tool to squish it down. Use the arrow keys on the keyboard to make sure it lines with the guide. Go 2 more frames forward. That's frame 45. Select frame 45. Right click. Insert keyframe. Stretch it up. Use the arrow keys on your keyboard. Position where it needs to be. Frame 50. 5 frames forward. It's going to come back up. Select frame 50. Right click. Insert keyframe. Bring it up. Not as high as the last time, using that onion skin. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This would be 4, and then we got 1 more at the end. Perfect. At frame 50, we go to the transform menu. Make it 100% a piece. it's got to come down. So frame 55, 5 more forward, select frame 55, right click, insert keyframe, bring it down, use the arrow keys, make sure that bounding box aligns with the guide. Back to frame 50 and use the rotational property, hold shift, make sure the highlight's facing up, frame 55. Highlight needs to be facing that direction. Forward. Yep, need to be facing forward. This is looking good. Last one. It's at frame 55. It's touched the ground, so we go so we go 3 frames forward. 1, 2, 3. That's frame 58. I select frame 58. I right click, insert keyframe, squash this down. Use your arrow keys on your keyboard. Make sure the bottom of that box aligns with the guide. Go 2 more forward. Frame 60. Select frame 60. Right click, insert keyframe. Stretch it back up. Use the arrow keys on the keyboard, move it up. Go to frame 65. Select frame 65, right click, insert keyframe, move it up. It's the last little bounce. At frame 65, transform menu, 100%. Perfect. Five more forward, 70. Select frame 70, right click, insert keyframe, bring it back down. Perfect. At frame 65, we go back. We got to make sure this thing rotates down. Using that rotational value, and at frame 70, the highlight's not only got to look down, it's got to face the opposite direction. And that is a 5 bounce process. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Yep. So we go one more. This thing's going to actually bounce out of frame. So I go 3 frames forward. 1, 2, 3. Select that frame. Right click. Insert keyframe. Squishes. Arrow keys. 2 more forward. 75. Select 75. Right click. Insert keyframe. Stretches up. Arrow keys on your keyboard. Make sure the bounding box aligns with the guide. Frame 80. Select frame 80. Right click. Insert keyframe. Move it outside your scene. Use the transform property to make it 100%. And we're good to go. Make sure it also does not, well, I might want to make it kind of still inside the frame here. Right about here. Frame 85 will actually make it. I'll select frame 85, insert, keyframe, and then bring it out. We got one more little tiny bounce there. Let's go back to 80. Use the transform, rotate the highlight up. 85. Only going up, it's going forward. Perfect. And there's our 5 bounces. All right. That's that. Now, if you ever need to increase the amount of length of your stage, if you're noticing I have a little bit extra space that I've created here, it's very easy. At any time, you can lock your ball layer, unlock your background layer, and use your what's called your sub-selectional tool. Again, left click on any of your shapes to activate them with the sub-selection, then select one of the top points, hold shift, select the bottom point, release shift from the keyboard, and then click and drag and just stretch this out further and make your adjustment. And then the same applies for this shape down here. You can select it, hold shift, select those points, stretch it. I can turn off my background layer to see where my stage is. Let's say this is where my stage would end. First click outside the white box, which is your stage in the dark gray area, and then go to stage properties. Right now my stage width is 800, so I want it to be 850. There we go, 850. Okay. And then turn all the elements back on, lock the layer, and now you have that additional space to work with. Perfect. And that's how you can increase your space of your scene very easily, making those modifications anytime. If you have an extra frame at the end, I'm going to turn off my onion skin here. If you have an extra frame at the end, which I do, just select it, or any range of frames that you really don't need. Like let's say from frame 101 all the way to 90. I don't really need these anymore because I've completed the animation 85. I can just click, drag across them, select all frames for both layers, right click, and then go to remove frames. All right. And you got your ball bouncing range of motion. Another thing you can do, which is a little tricky, you can click, drag across any of these range of keyframes, and you have to start on the one you know you want to move. Click and drag, start on that one, and then go across, like let's say to like 50. And let's say this is where that ball is actually coming back up into the air. If you want to make the ball bounce faster, what you would do is bring these keyframes close together. So I could say from like 85 to like 50, if I wanted the ball to move faster, I could select that range and then click and drag and move them all in union. And now that ball is going a lot faster, say in the ball bouncing motion. So you have the ability to do that across any of your keyframes. Or go back and kind of tweak some of the squash and stretch if you want. In order to see the full effect of this, the range of motion, we have to add what's called the classic tween. So the very last thing you would do, once you get the number of frames you need and keyframes, just click and drag across your entire frame range, and you would start at the very end. So you start on this point, click and drag from there all the way to forward, and select all your keyframes, all your frames across that layer for the ball, right click, and then in the sub menu you're going to select create classic tween. And once that's done, basically what that means is in between. So all frames in between those keyframes are now animated, and it has the nice flow and range of motion, and the bounces in there, and it looks pretty good. Okay? For publishing, it's real easy. You simply go to File for a project submission. You go to File, Publish Settings, and inside this menu, click the folder, indicate where you want to save it to. You would name your file accordingly. You don't need the HTML wrapper. You can turn that off, but the most important part is make sure your JPEG quality is 100. And then you click Publish. Click OK. And once that is all done, you go out to the folder, find your file, open it up, and then you can play it back. And this is what you call the SWF file. This is the file that you would want to submit. It's right here. This is the file that you're going to want to turn in. If you right click on it to get more information, you can go to Properties, or on a Mac you can go to Get Info, and you can open up and you can see that it is an SWF animated file. It's Adobe Flash Player that plays back the file type. And that's the file that you're going to want to submit.